Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 724. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
What is up, everybody?
All right, so you got some news. What do we have?
Well, let's start off with The Flash. Apparently, for Season 3 of The Flash, Kevin Smith is going to return.
Okay.
I'm gathering that's a good thing. I don't watch The Flash, but I heard some good things about the episodes he directed in Season 2. So I guess that's good for Flash fans.
But it doesn't say anything about Arrow, right? Because I heard he wanted to do Arrow.
They'll probably let him do it eventually.
Yeah, I think so. All right, I have no problem with that. Next.
Now, this one is pretty interesting. Batman the Killing Joke, the animated film, had another clip today, and I guess they recolored the trailer as well.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted to say is while I'm excited to see this, and I think it looks really good, I've had an issue with some of the animation. Now, I don't know if that's the final animation that we saw in the trailer. It doesn't look that great, the animation, to me.
No.
I'm hoping that they fix it, because I've seen so much better animated Batman and Superman, Wonder Woman films from DC.
Right.
That they have better animation than what we're seeing, unless that's the style that they want to go with, which if they do.
I thought it was just preliminary, just basic, not even like a rough, because they just compiled something together just to show us. I didn't think it was really that footage from the movie. I mean, I could be wrong, but
I'm pretty sure those were clips from the movie. I just don't know if the animation is finalized yet.
Yeah, I don't think it was, but I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah. You still have those pictures I sent you to with the Marvel stuff?
I believe I do.
Want to screen share that?
Yeah, one second.
Yeah, me and Chris are talking off air, and of course I'm on the bus and I'm looking at these ideas and concepts that Marvel has, and I look at these things and I get more and more irritable. Like, I mean, and Chris is right. You said it, right? That they're catering to...
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're catering to a young audience.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I am not... This doesn't look interesting to me.
Right.
But from what I'm getting from this is maybe a younger reader might look at that and go, wow, I'm in school too. I want to pick this up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I think that's who they're catering to, like maybe a newer audience. However, I like I said, to me and maybe to a reader like you, this doesn't look interesting. You know what I mean?
To me, if I basically closed my eyes and just looked like blurry, right, I would think that that's Teen Titans.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're going for.
It looks pretty much like it. Looks like that's what they're going for. Now, I mean...
This one I don't understand at all.
All right, back in the day, they introduced, like as a joke, the Great Lakes Avengers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they got the West Coast Avengers logo, which I'm not really crazy about that at all. And they never really, it was like a joke, but I guess now they just start to throw everything out there.
Sure.
So I'm not really understanding why they would even bother wasting comic about that. Why not just bring back the West Coast Avengers?
Yeah, right.
And
there's Squirrel Girl again in that picture. She's very, very popular recently.
And she's going to be part of the U.S. Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's horrible, too. There's going to be backlash. I'm telling you. And then they're going to be like, well, what do we do wrong? It's called making comic books like comic books. Beyond comic books, where it doesn't make any effing sense. When you have your comic and when you have to explain why Cyclops is 16, and then I don't know if you read like your article about it, Chris, but the guy that's like writing for it, he's like, yeah, Cyclops, I'm trying to get everybody to like Cyclops again because he's basically known as the young Hitler.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, who the hell said that, first of all? But I wasn't aware of that. But, I mean, if you made him a villain like that, killing Professor X, then whose fault is that? That's Marvel's fault they're doing that. So, I mean, and I would have never thought that analogy is associated with Cyclops because I thought he was all noble and stuff. and he's a little corny, he's a little by the books, but obviously I wasn't reading it when he was a villain killing his own, father figure / mentor, Professor X. I mean, this is a whole different universe to me. But, he's like, I'm trying to save the image. Well, and then the funny thing is, like Hulk is, that's the young Hulk, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The kid is a teenager or whatever.
Totally awesome Hulk.
Yeah, and then Ms. Marvel is basically a way to show it's Fantastic Four without the Fantastic Four. Like, she's got their powers. So it's like, whatever. I mean, it's like almost like New Warriors again, but, not going to work as far as I'm concerned. And then I'm not a fan of 5 different Spider-Men running around while there's 5 different Thors, while there's 5 different Hulks. I don't really find that interesting. And again, when you take the unique away from these heroes, it becomes boring. That anybody can be Hulk. Anybody can be Captain America. Anybody. That's not the way it should be. Because then you can't make it that just everybody can be Captain America. Because it's boring. And I know they're trying to make it like, oh, yeah, every race could be Captain America. Look, we have an African-American man and a woman. I think they go too far. Like, oh, we got a Chinese person that's going to be have an Iron Man armor on. I mean, it's like, oh, here we go. Marvel's just shooting themselves in the foot with that. Anywho, what else do we have?
There was something interesting today. I don't necessarily know how to feel about it. It was some Shin Gojira stuff. If you remember that comic, boy, what the hell am I talking about? That cartoon that I showed that showed his atomic breath.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. Maybe they released this the day the day of that picture, and I just missed it. If you're wondering what Shin Gojira is going to be like, and you don't want to wait till the movie comes out, that cartoon debuts a week ahead of the movie.
Why?
I don't know. And apparently, in the cartoon, the design is accurate, the roar is accurate, and I'm also assuming that the atomic breath is accurate.
But why are you going to spoil the whole damn thing? What's the purpose then?
Well, I mean, they're not going to spoil the movie, but I think the things that people are waiting to see in the movie,
stupid.
That's what I was saying to me, or to everybody
else. I have
else.
no idea how to market anything.
Well, this was my thing. I have to say, this is a nitpick. I'm not a big fan of the blue atomic breath on this Godzilla. Yeah, I know that that's what he normally has. I know, before any Godzilla fans lose their minds, I know that that's his normal atomic breath color. I get it. Mm-hmm. But the blue doesn't work for me with this Godzilla. He's covered in red, which I like. Wouldn't it have made more sense?
Fire red blast. Right.
Make it beat red, or you know what I was kind of hoping for, which would have been really unique, a black one.
Wow, though that's stretching it.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's different, but if he had a black one, I think that'd be pretty cool, like black with white in it or something. I was always an advocate of giving Godzilla just a completely white atomic breath.
Right.
Because it's like white hot. I know that blue is supposed to be a increased temperature of fire and whatnot, or type of chemical element burning. But I don't know. The blue. I mean, I don't hate it. I'm glad he has an atomic breath at all.
Right.
But because I was afraid they were going to give him some sort of vapor.
Yeah.
And I was going to be like, not again. Well, that worked in the 50s, not now.
Yeah.
But I was also kind of hoping, and this might still happen, I was kind of hoping to see a Godzilla that could maybe adjust, like if he doesn't fire, like he could fire a beam, but he could also just fire like a blast, like a ball of it if he wanted to, or like maybe change the shape or something. I don't know. That was just like my idea, but I don't know. The cartoon debuting a week before, I don't know.
It makes no sense to me. The wasty reveal. All right, I guess we'll see and it's getting closer to release, so we'll see what happens. I know I didn't give you this article, but did you hear something about Mark Hamill shaving his beard?
Yes.
What's that about?
I think Luke dies. Honestly, now we might all be looking too deeply into this. He could easily grow another beard before episode 9. You know what I'm saying? But I personally believe it's either one of two things. Either he dies in the movie and his Force ghost just doesn't have a beard for some reason. I don't know why that would be, but or maybe Luke shaves it off in the movie.
I would think so. To just
like,
get
we don't see that obviously, but like he comes out, he's clean shaven, you know.
It could be like something happens on that thing, and then he just and then he just goes into the thing, comes out, he's all ready to go.
You know what I would love? I just thought of this.
He's gonna wear mole black.
No. Like at the end of the movie, he goes to see Han Solo's grave, and he's clean shaven and he's dressed nice, and they're kind of paying his respects. And then Leia is next to him, that's the first time they see each other again.
Right.
That would be fantastic.
Yes.
The
thing is, right, like, they had to get out of there, so they never retrieved the body.
Unfortunately, no.
So, like, they have a grave without a body.
Yeah, because, I mean, I guess, it sucks to think about, but his body was probably vaporized when the frickin' planet...
It was thrown off the thing.
Yeah, and when the planet turned into a star, it probably...
As long as they don't do anything like they try to bring him back or something, that would be weird.
I think we're going to see him one more time, but in some sort of flashback.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a part of Kylo Ren's redemption. That's what I think, but I don't know. Because apparently, this might be a minor spoiler, but apparently Han Solo's death is a part of this next movie. Like, they've said that, which is why I don't really consider it a spoiler. They said that his death, something happens because he's dead. And the speculation right now is that the Republic is like, General Solo's dead. We have to do something because
it's serious.
Yeah, so I'm all for that. I think that's a great idea going forward.
Yeah, I agree.
I just apparently they're almost done filming. So I know that they, if they have to go back and do reshoots, they got to go into post-production. But they might finish this movie at the end of this year or towards the end of the year. They have a huge amount of time before the movie comes out next year. So that's pretty crazy when you think about it.
Very crazy. All right, anything else we have yet or no?
No, that's all I had known about.
All right, let me just get into quick the box office stuff. Let me see now. Hold on. Oops. Okay, hold on a second. I don't know why can't I do this all the time? Okay, that's stupid. All right, here we go. All right, so The Purge basically has in so far 36 million worldwide. It's already probably going to be a sequel again or prequel. Tarzan really didn't do well. Tarzan 65 million and an 180 million budget. That's a failure. Sorry to say. Independence Day got a jump. We were talking about that overseas, and it's $252,576,182. So it's basically profitable already, over 100 million, almost at 100 million profit.
Yeah, I guess you could lump this, or I guess you can group this with Pacific Rim and like Terminator and stuff, Terminator Genesis, because that's the new thing now. It doesn't have to do well in the United States anymore.
Right, it will bail you out if you could do phenomenal, and that's what happened, with Into Darkness too, Star Trek. Finding Dory did 555 million. That's a success. The Steven Spielberg movie that we were talking about, BFG.
Yeah.
Which nobody really knew what the hell that was until, I think you told me it was Big Freaking Giant or something.
Yeah, Big Friendly Giant.
Big Friendly Giant, horrible. Horrible. It's a big failure. And there's massive rumblings because of that. So, what else did I want to talk about? There was also Swiss Army Man. I don't even know. It didn't even make $2 million. They don't even say.
I think that was more like an independent kind of film.
Is that what it was?
I'm not entirely sure. I know it. I don't think it was meant to be a big budget film. So whatever it makes, I think they might be happy with.
Right. X-Men Apocalypse is pretty much done. 529 million worldwide. That is a success.
Mm-hmm.
And Alice Through the Looking Glass basically did well overseas. So the budget was 170 million. It did 261 million overseas. So I guess it broke out of it being a failure here. And of course, Turtles. I'm going to talk about this one more time. Turtles has in 100. Oh wow, there was a jump actually with Turtles. Almost $200 million, 193 million worldwide. So there you go. Turtles is going to be probably greenlit for a sequel. It had a jump. Very nice. Maybe it still wasn't released somewhere. Captain America, $1,149,957,447. That's basically done. So there you go. That's the box office for you. And hardly anything else. Oh no, we wanted to check one more thing, right? The Conjuring. I just wanted to see what.
I'm sure that did well.
Yeah. Conjuring basically has in $275 million worldwide. The budget was $40 million. Domestically was $95 million. So that is getting beyond sequels with that. So there you have it. That is the news. All right. Thank you very much, Chris.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
Take care. Bye for now, people.